Welcome to the YoungWoManFlourish podcast. I'm your host, Shania Sheree Curtis, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host. We have our heavy hitter, PC Police, Ariel Alvarado. We got our youngin in the building who's not a YN, but an RN, Isaiah Tripp. We have our queen mother, Jasmine Alvarado, in the building.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have our vocabulary king, Jonathan Alvarado II. Don't worry, the first vocabulary king too. But we are super, super excited to be here with you guys. We're super excited because also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2026. But before we get into anything else, we have to get to the part of the show that states our boundaries, that makes it very, very clear. Our pre-show warning. Now, we are 5 young intellects trying to grow, love, laugh, and learn in our faith, academia, and passions. So don't come over here trying to police us. If you are trying to be the police, exit left immediately. Thank you. Now, before we go any further as well, we have our SOTD, which is the only tea we need and the only shade we will accept. Because if you read the Bible, you know it can get a little shady. It can get a little bob and weave. Bob and weave.
Under that shade.
You have to bob and weave.
They were throwing stones. Okay.
I'll take that a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so this week's SOTD is coming from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 8.
Oh, yes.
I'll be reading the NIV version. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. I believe that this would be a very intentional scripture of the day to pick, because we are going to be talking about a series of different subtopics coming from the main topic of obedience is better than sacrifice. Now, we are in the new year. It is a new year and we've just begun. It's January, the first month of the year. And so I thought this would be very fitting when we're talking about so many people constantly having the conversation surrounding what they want and evolving into this type of individual. And I thought, let's start with the groundwork. Let's start with some things that are a part of the cracks in the foundation and a part of the soil that we don't normally talk about. And so when we're looking at obedience is better than sacrifice, in today's episode, we're going to really be poking at what does obedience even actually mean? What does that look like? How do we even feel about that? And then also, we want to poke at this big tension that happens in a lot of our minds where it's like, what happens when what I want and what God asks, they don't seem to align? So I'm really, really interested to poke my co-host brains about this because I got some good questions for us today. But before we get into that, though I've been around y'all a lot lately, I feel like we really haven't had a chance to
I know.
breathe and catch up.
Barely broke it.
So what's going on in y'all world? I actually have a prompt regarding our mental health check-in. So first, for sure, let us know how you're feeling. Very, very concise, very quick, very brief. But also, I want you to answer for me, in reflection of 2025, what was your beautiful mess? Specifically, I mean by that as in like, I know everybody has had something that seemed very like messy in their year in 2025 that felt like, oh, this is taking me out. Like, God, there's no way you okayed this. There's no way my God was a part of this. And then it turned out to be something that felt like, oh my goodness, what a storyteller. Like, God, you are an author. Like, this actually was beautiful, and guess what? I'm a soldier. Like, I was actually in there. So think about that for a little minute, and then let me know who's ever got that on their mind.
I think I got
I know they throw me in the water.
Right. Okay. I'm going to start telling folks things.
that was going. Last year was long, and I think, especially with me being in college, it's hard to fully like be able to look back at a year like that, because my freshman year and my sophomore year, like freshman and sophomore year was definitely a chunk. But honestly, the beautiful chaos for me was me changing my major. Like I was so unsure. It was a lot of moving parts, and it was what I changed my major to was something that like people hadn't recognized too much. So like I got a lot of like,
Sure.
you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. But I think overall, like at the end of the year, I saw like, wow, this is working. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and God's carrying me through it every step of the way. So yeah, definitely my major switch.
How are you right now today?
Oh, I'm amazing. I am a little bit tired. I've been working all day. I started my remote job. Finally got to clock in today for the first time because we were working on some logistic parts. And finishing applications, a lot of applications, internship applications, trip applications. I put some. I applied for 2 art shows, 2 of my personal pieces, which I hadn't been working on art in a while, but I'm back. And so I'm really excited. Yeah.
Where are the trips
to? Chicago. And y'all know, I gotta go to Chicago. I gotta go to Chicago. But yeah, Chicago, we're going to Chicago in February, so it's gonna be real cool. And I'm sucking bread, so I don't know nothing about that.
All right, who's next?
Sorry, I'm laughing. Beautiful Mess is my big era right now is motherhood, and I feel like I have gotten out of the newborn trenches. I am now officially in toddler world.
Yeah.
But what I'm realizing is, yes, toddlers are asserting their own personality. They have their own will. But it is so freeing as a mother to finally be able to see your child be independent. I'm not confined, I'm not breastfeeding, I'm not absolutely having to be, like, I have to go take a 15-minute break so I can go pump and then come back. Like, my entire world was surrounded by being a newborn mother, and this last year was that finally got to, I guess, reap the benefits of, hey, all of the sacrifice, the constant putting yourself on the back burner, you putting your child's health first, their well-being first, is finally showing up, and now
He's trying to become
he's
himself.
He's becoming a little kid.
An
It is
individual.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is so awesome. So how I feel today, I feel very, I feel a little, I feel a little scattered. I feel scattered. I'm not too sure what I'm doing, but I also feel content with knowing that even though I don't know what I'm doing, I know that God has like this hovering, like, okay, we're moving into something. I just don't know what it is fully yet.
Yeah.
But it's that's it. I feel like I'm in anticipation. That's what I got.
That's good.
Beautiful Mess.
We'll come back to that.
I think, I don't know, my everything this past couple of months, this past year's been insane. I mean,
Sure.
You bet.
this time last year I was living in Wilmington, Delaware. Moving into my second full year of living halfway through my second full year living in Wilmington, Delaware. At the end of July, we drove back here for the last time. And now it's a new January. And I feel like
It's a new January.
Really? It's a new
It's
January.
crazy.
So this whole season has been way more beautiful than Mess. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. But I'm also, excited to continue to, I feel like I was saying this the other day to somebody that, like, professionally, I've reached a particular level of professionality and professional experience And I've kind of tested the boundaries of this level of professional experience, and I'm excited to kind of to curate what the next steps look like.
I love
to
that
be
word.
a little more intentional, maybe not less intentional, because I was very intentional about what I chose before, but to be like
Even more.
like this is what I want to do. Yeah, and to see things maybe more circumspectly, to recognize what it is that I'm, before you get into a job and you have to learn the things that you don't like about a job.
Yeah.
And now I have enough professional experience where it's like, no, I can see from a mile away what that's going to be, and now I get to decide if that is something. There's always going to be something.
If this is a job,
there's always something that you have to deal with, but now I get to decide, is that something that I'm actually willing to deal with or not? And I'm willing to deal with it. Am I willing to deal with it for a season, or am I going to get in, get out, or am I just going to abstain? Is the bag big enough for me to do? So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to continue the beautiful mess of community building and continue to expand that in the city. Like, people are excited that I'm here, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to work with more people.
I'm ready.
We're gonna get some waves.
I'm very excited.
It's that time of the year. It's gonna get some waves.
Oh well, that's
It's
y'all
about that
y'all
time.
are kind. I'm just here. I'm just here. I just like to do.
No,
I like
you're
to
excited
explore.
in here.
Well, I am excited
There
in
you
here.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Today I'm a little low energy. I'm working through some things mentally and emotionally right now, but I'm putting my life. This whole first couple of days of the year, I've been really intentional about, like, okay, this is the schedule. This is the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. This is what you're going to be doing. So I'm kind of building my life again. I had a good moment of rest, had a lot of moments of fun, and I intend to have even more moments of fun. But now it's the time, like, okay, you got some bills that you forgot to pay, go pay those. You got to write a couple emails, get back in the monotony of things. So I'm excited for that, though. It's been nice to do that at my own pace.
Good.
Instead of being baptized by fire.
Listen,
Yeah.
Johnny boy.
Man, first of all, where did that Johnny Boy thing come from? I've been hearing more and more.
Who been saying that to you? Who been saying that to you?
My sister, my wife,
Oh, okay.
my other
You don't have to
sister.
say that then.
Like,
From Glen to
Yeah.
Glen.
I don't remember. I told you last time we was recording. I call you that whenever I like you. Like
Yeah.
When I like you in that moment.
Yeah, because John
Clock
B.
it.
Don't
Anyway.
Rock that tea.
I was doing great. No, I'm kidding.
That's
I am doing great. I am gassed, but
Yeah.
I am on the backside of Sabbath. My Sabbath actually just ended 40 minutes ago. So,
Okay.
yeah, 6 to 6, sundown to sundown. Y'all know where we've been at as far as the church is concerned, baby.
It's so exciting.
Very exciting.
It's so exciting.
Very exciting. But it was,
It's a lot of work.
Paul says, I think it's in Philippians, something to the effect of like he's learned to be content even if he is to be poured out as a drink offering on the offering of another person's faith. Like, he's good with that. And I had been saying that coming into 2025 and through the top of 2025. But then selling a church campus, consolidating a church campus, meetings from the summer all the way through. You see what I'm saying? Like, I have thoroughly been poor. I have nothing left to give other than, like, being a cup and real life. And the beauty behind that message, like, when my Sabbath started yesterday, I picked up my copy of the Tao Te Ching, which is the Taoist philosophy. And it was I think it's the 8th one or the 7th verse chapter. I'm not sure how they delineate that. I guess it's chapters. But anyway, in there it talks about how the clay is formed into a vessel, and it's because of the vessel's emptiness that it is useful. A vessel doesn't serve a purpose. It's not useful when it's already full.
Yeah.
Like, no one reaches for a full cup to fill it up.
Yeah.
Therefore, the vessel's purpose is couched in the whole chapter is about that kind of that strength
Philosophy.
Yeah, so I'm just
Yeah,
kind of
You
like,
read that once you realized I was just a cup.
yeah, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
And yeah, so I just I said, Jazz and I were reflecting coming out of 25, and we're like, man, we're just grateful that 25 was largely an uneventful year.
Yeah,
No major
24
beef, no major
gave us some punches.
drama, no deaths in the family. Like, it was a pretty uneventful year, and for that, I give God the utmost thanks. Like,
2025 felt like the transition for me.
And
like,
that's what.
Like 2026 is like we on the up and up. We on the up and up.
Yeah.
There's one way to go.
And that's what I was gonna say for me when it comes to my beautiful mess. Like when you say it wasn't too eventful, like that was my 2025. It was just eventful. It was so many transitions. Right? Me and Ari got quiet when y'all said that. We like, whoa. Because I graduated undergrad. I started grad school and seminary. I was sitting in church during watch night service, watching Pop preach, like watching Bishop preach, like, oh my goodness, why am I in seminary? Like, how did I get here? And so, and then I've moved in 2025 twice, and so it's just so different. I went from like living with my best friend, my sister, to now living on my own, and so like 2025 was a year of events and transitions, and like through each transition, it was just me learning more. What made it beautiful was I learned more that like I can really do this.
Yeah.
And God, I can do this with me and you.
yeah.
Like I'm such a community person. I literally was raised under the village concept. Yeah. And so, and I come from a big family, and then when I leave there, the balance in coming to Atlanta for Clark was like, y'all were gonna be here. That was literally the conversations me and my family was having. So it was like, I'm going into another village. And so 2025 was the telling of the truth that a village is necessary, but maybe what you and God can do, oh my goodness. And so that was my beautiful mess. And I'm also showing up today. I'm kind of like Jazz a little bit, like scattered. Like I woke up this morning with my brain just, I hate when I wake up and my brain is immediately listing all the things that needs to get done. And so I'm just preparing and getting ready for when classes start this upcoming Monday. We in it now. Now it's like, okay, you wanted 2 programs. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, but yeah. So moving forward, though, I'm really glad to hear all of y'all 2025 reflections, and I love that everybody seems to be in such an intentional, specific space that I feel like different people can relate to. But for our honorable mention, it's something very quick and short today. Okay. But I would love to hear, as we're reflecting in 2025, what is your favorite? Like, what were some of your favorite music projects of 2025?
Now, y'all.
And before you say it, when you list them out, make sure you also realize, because we big black faith, black art, black music. So I need y'all to also shout out your favorite black music project.
I'm gonna immediately ignore that. Haley Williams dropped.
I have a project that I enjoy, but I also want you to shout out some of your favorite black artists
Williams
that you
who was
enjoy.
a member of the black community, dropped out.
Hold on, wait.
Wait,
I'm not just
She
going.
has simultaneously given me so much and taken so much away from me, and the fact that I could not get tickets to her show. So if anybody sees this and they got an extra ticket or 2.
Wait, she just said, wait.
No.
This is the person?
Look.
Wait.
No. Have you heard her music though?
Do you know her?
You know Paramount.
But I'm also not the type of person that just be like, oh, we're inviting anybody to the cookout.
No, she ain't just anybody.
Haley Williams is certified.
Oh, y'all are those types of
No, I promise you.
She learned it when she crip walked.
Oh, those types of blacks. Again. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about?
No, just because you're specifically uninitiated.
I'm saying, no.
She been fucking with us, dog.
This is like the conspiracy theory all over again.
I'm gonna go get
Because,
the chicken.
My thing is,
She been with the
I don't not appreciate somebody that can be soulful and they have influences and it's like, oh yeah, we like you. However, I'm not, what my issue was, you saying she was a part of the black community. I'm thinking she's a black woman. This is not a black woman. What is she?
She's from Franklin, Tennessee.
But also, that's not carrying weight coming from y'all.
Let me tell you something. Just because.
Let me tell you something. Right.
Just because you don't know her long-standing membership
No, now I look her up. I know her music. I know some of her music, and I think she's an amazing artist. I'm not gonna say though that she's a part of the black community.
That conversation has been said well before we said it.
Oh, yes.
Long ago, that conversation has been had and has been said.
And you know what conversation has been getting brought back up? Conversating about why do blacks feel like they should just be inviting niggas into the black community. That's not black.
We don't just be inviting anybody.
Right.
That list of white people that we really rock with is kind of small.
Or why don't we just appreciate them and not say that they in the black community? Like, we can't appreciate people that's not in. That's like. Actually, I'm not even gonna go there. You enjoy her project, and you spoke on. In case I over-talked while you were saying you enjoyed project.
Because you were outraged.
I was confused. I was like.
No, that's the Ice music project that came out in 2025. That's the only one that I can recall seriously off the top of my head. Because again, I'm a musician, so yes, I listen to music, but not like that. Because silence is important when you make sounds all the time. The Haley Williams project for sure was one of the things that I listened to. And she dropped it in a very industry hacking way, in that she drops the full album and then she drops every single song as a single as well. And so she gets double royalties because not only is the full project, but every single song also is a single. So whether you listen to it as a part of the full album or you listen to it as a single, she's getting double money. She's getting the check. And I was like, that now is how we drop music.
To doing it because
shout out to
they
that.
give them money off
the music industry is doing y'all dirt.
I'm crying at you going
doing dirt.
Well, for me, I'm gonna say. Y'all already know what my answer is, but I'm going Chance the Rapper Star.
Surprise, it's the boy who lived.
I enjoyed that project so much. And he dropped it towards the end of 2025.
You look like the boy who lived.
Not really the end, but fourth quarter, like around September. Yeah, but I don't even have to say, it was so intellectual, it was so just creative and artistic, and it's everything that I'm in right now. Like, it's the space that I'm in my life where I'm that Afrocentric view, I've been at though, but that, and plus just the confidence and the love for yourself, but also for your community, and like understanding too that like the beauty in him highlighting the love for the black community, the love for the hood, but also like the love for the world, like learning how like as humans, for real, like let's get this together. So I love that project. I think it's brilliant.
Same for me. My life is kind of based around Starline right now. I'm working on a project. I'm working on an exhibition, as you guys know. But based around Starline, black psychology, and just the black experience in general. So that one has been probably the biggest project. Like, I listen to it every day. I'm not gonna lie. I wake up, boom, 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 boom. Like, inspiration for sure. I'm from Atlanta, as y'all know. Metro Boomin dropped the tape this year. It was absolutely monumental. Metro dropped, and it was amazing. And it was a throwback.
It was definitely
it was a throwback. He got J Money on there, and folks didn't know about J Money until Don't I Be with J Money serving everybody. Well, he was really outside. If you want to know your Atlanta history, do your homework on J Money. And I think that's it. I discovered Olivia Dean this year. Towards the end of the year.
The Art of Loving, that's one of my projects.
Lady. I'm not a lady, but man, that is my song.
Maybe making you feel like
I mean, ooh, but there's something in the air every time. Ooh, there is. I'm ready to get on with the day. You do your homework.
No, The Art of Loving is an amazing project.
Do your homework.
Jazzy, what's
It's just something that you feel like
this year was the year I listened to all of the projects I remember my father playing in the car when I was a kid.
I love that.
And two things. First album was Victor Wooten, What Did He Say, and Soul Circus. He's a bass player. Just crazy. Experimental, wonderful artwork. Just, you notice that he's talented. Absolutely recommend listening. Just such a great musician. And it's jazz. Just so people have clarification of what it is. And then the other one was, I can't remember if it was this year or last year that we did this, but I still play it religiously. John took me to see Aiden Ailey.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Alvin Ailey?
That was
Yeah,
this
Alvin
year, I
Ailey.
think.
That was this year? Okay.
Yeah.
The soundscape, the music for it was an album by, I think, Akeem Du Bois.
Du Bois Akeem.
Oh my gosh.
The Sacred Song.
It's so
Wow, what was the
phenomenal.
So, Mr. Ailey had, the Revelations.
Yeah, I love Revelations.
Yes.
So
Alvin Ailey, Black Art, do your homework.
Yeah, the second half of Revelations didn't make the
first.
production.
Yes.
So he cut those because they wanted the show to be short enough to be able to tour it more simply.
Yeah.
Well, later on, Du Bois Akeem gets...
No, the choreographer hired Du Bois Akeem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He gets committed.
Yeah, but you made it sound like he was the choreographer. He's not the choreographer.
No, I'm saying Du Bois Akeem, he's the composer. He gets commissioned to come rework the original concept of the second half of Revelations that didn't make the cut.
Right.
And they choreographed it and they toured it this year. We went to go see it at the Fox for Valentine's Day this year.
So good.
Yeah,
It was insane. And then they did Revelation, the first half, immediately after. It was incredible.
Revelation
The
will
music is beautiful.
change the way.
The music is beautiful. So she stole one of mine. The other one was, and it's a late drop, October, I just checked. Robert Glasper dropped this year. He dropped Keys to the City 1.
He's coming to Glasgow.
He's coming and I'm going.
We should
Yes.
go to Citywide.
Yes.
Keys to the city.
Mhm.
Keys to whose city? Are we talking Atlanta? Is he from Atlanta?
He's so
No, I think he's
Did
New
he
York.
just ask to whose city? Talk about
I just want
Atlanta.
to know.
Do you know who Glasper is?
And that's why I'm asking. No, I'm unaware.
Okay. No, he's I'm pretty sure he's New York because he's got this real East Coast J Dilla. His contribution to jazz is like inculcating. It's like a feedback loop. Hip hop was fed by jazz first when it was made, but now he's feeding jazz
back with more
hip hop. So it's
Cold.
But he dropped Esperanza Spalding is on that record, and their song is my favorite.
That's a hit.
But it's this strip back. It's called what's the song?
Take your time.
Didn't find. Oh, I'm trying to stop it. What's it called? Didn't find nothing in my. Sorry, I sound like.
You gonna get it, take it. You gonna take it.
He don't speak Ebonics.
Right. You gonna get it, take it off.
Do you say John don't speak Ebonics?
The song is called "Didn't Find Nothing in My Blues Song Blues."
You need to read some more Zora Van Hersen if you couldn't read that quickly.
No, it was scrolling, baby. The ticker was going. Calm down. I can read. He can't spell.
And that's not.
And you see how the boy who lived always.
Okay, so some people can read, some people can't spell, but we won't even get into that anymore.
I'd like to honorable mention that both of my artists this year were black.
Mine's was 1.5. Oh,
Who is that? Olivia?
let me really.
No.
Wait, Olivia Dean is black?
No.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, where you going?
I didn't know that.
Where you going with that?
I'm on camera.
No,
So-
go ahead. You already said
And we
it.
also need to say, viewer, him, and she went up for Justin Bieber's record this summer.
Oh no! Oh yes. Now, an honorable mention of a project that I did favor outside of black music is Justin Bieber. I enjoy Swag. Like I had them listening to it. We drove to Savannah and we
I would
listened to
argue
it.
that the Justin Bieber album also falls into.
Well, no. Well, I take
It
offense.
was made by a black man. The
And-
sound
But I
that
take
he
offense to
has
that when
is
that
white
black
music.
man has said.
That white man, you mean?
I mean, yeah, that white man. I take offense to that when that white man has made certain like derogatory comments about black people. Even though I know he's apologized for those comments and all that, like I get that it might be like playful for y'all, but like I am on some like
It ain't playful.
Power to the people.
I want us to be very
Not even
intentional
just power
about
of the
sound
people,
that we
but-
let other people use. That sound is our sound.
That's
absolutely, and we talk about that.
It's black
Absolutely.
music. I don't care if it was a white face that made it, and I understand that we should.
Okay, then I understand what you're saying. I misheard what you said. I thought you were saying like
It's black music. We for too long have shelled out
educate
our
actually right
sound.
now.
We have for too long shelled out our sound to other people and said, "Oh, look at them," and no shade to Bruno Mars. Absolutely love it. I think he does us justice. But for too long, we've allowed too many other people to co-opt our sound.
K-pop.
It's not a black face, so it's not black music. Add the hell in it.
right.
K-pop,
Teach us.
Afros.
It's black
Locks.
music.
I'm
There's no
actually really
reason
glad that you
Bruno-
said that because I was hearing what you were saying completely different, but 100%.
There's no reason
Yeah,
Bruno should have
JB.
won that Grammy
Ain't
for
no
best
reason
R&B
ain't no
album
reason he should have won that.
for
Who was
24
he?
Karat
Wait,
Magic.
who was he up against?
He was up against Legacy.
Wait, 24 Karat Magic.
24 Karat
PJ
Magic as an
Morton.
R&B album. No
He-
reason he should
Oh,
have
no.
won.
And he was up against like
What
real
Daniel Caesar
R&B.
artist? I mean
Say it.
album. What Daniel Caesar album?
It was Freudian. It was back in 2016.
And that one was a
Now,
Oh.
Legacy had just dropped.
I would
Freudian had just dropped. Gumbo had just dropped.
yeah.
It was a
Gumbo,
lot
PJ Morton?
of-
Yeah.
It was a
PJ
lot of
Morton?
like real
Didn't
R&B.
Not Summer Walker. Who was that baby girl?
SZA.
Lexi. No, Lex.
Ari Lennox?
Ari Lennox.
Ari had dropped, I think, that year.
Yeah, that was a lot of R&B music.
I think I would have fact checked because we don't
But
pod.
yeah.
Let me see.
Either way, all I'm saying is, yes, it was a white man, and yes, it's JB, and I listened to it, so I rock it. But I want us to be very, very intentional about what
Oh my
we.
gosh.
I understand, white faces and doing our music and the history behind that, and we for too long have allowed other faces to do our music, and then for us to try to distance it because somebody else made it. No, they took our sound.
It's
They
actually,
continually take our sound.
that's
And then when it no longer serves them, Jelly Roll, Machine Gun Kelly,
Ooh.
when it
Post
no longer
Malone.
Post Malone, when it no longer serves you, you go off and you do some other things. Now I'm
You
not mad
went
at
back
Jelly
to
Roll
country.
because you're more country and I really enjoy your country music, but Machine Gun Kelly, you are
Post Malone,
Post
you're an
Malone,
op.
you
You
are op.
started off.
You
You
started
got
off making
famous off of
Black
looking like a
sounds.
quote unquote
yeah,
photo.
White Iverson. White Iverson.
And in the moment that you get a little bit of fame, now you switch back to
With
your
the
white
braids.
To the
Iverson.
CMA
Absolutely,
Awards.
y'all
It's
good.
funded by
It's something
Magazine.
about
Y'all
braids,
should.
man. They get braids.
I concur with all of
braids.
What is the braids?
Right.
Braids.
Right.
It is the braids.
It was a name y'all could have said that's reaching
Go ahead,
to
Come on.
go ahead.
a name that's acting like it. Drake. When he's what he say?
I
What
mentioned
he
the
say
braids.
about hip hop?
I mentioned
What
the
he say
braids
about hip
for a
hop?
reason.
Did he say? What did he say about the UK? I want to get the quote right. What did he say about the UK? He was like, they're like, yeah, Google it, because he had mentioned something about UK rappers.
I'm sure you
And-
did.
And it
He
was
likes
like everybody
their
kind of
cadence.
felt like
He
it
very
was like
much
a
likes
slap
their
in the face
cadence,
because
yeah.
people are like, whoa.
We made you.
We started that sound.
Yeah.
We made you.
Drake lost himself.
Yeah.
And
Don't.
he did. He lost himself.
Anything. Yeah.
Drake needs to be fully
It was
aware.
intense. You beat out Kendrick. That was intense.
I'm saying no. I mean,
That
that,
wasn't it.
hands down, Kendrick had every right and reason to whoop Drake all up and down the
When did
West
DMX
Coast.
Drake
drop?
said, hold on. Drake said, and I quote, no disrespect to America, but nobody in the world can out-rap London rappers. Now Drake.
And that was a problem.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was a problem.
That's just not true.
Back to what you talking about with black music. Don't play with us.
Stop
Don't
Don't play with
And
us.
let's be clear, the diaspora is large, and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and a lot of the sound that the London and UK rappers is Black American music.
My problem.
The black American music that y'all say, the same black Americans that y'all say have no culture. Those
Let's
same
kill-
black Americans.
let's kill this one
Because
right
we're
now.
killing that myth now.
But
For
where did that
every,
come from?
my thing, for every UK drill, for every Drake bar, for all of it. If you use the word nigga, the term was coined after black Americans were called nigga.
Now let's add some.
That is black American slang.
Let's add some music.
Not UK American, not African.
'Cause they
That is
their own-
black
Add
American,
some music context to
nigga.
this. Drill as a genre, as a subgenre of hip hop, is a specifically American phenomenon.
For sure.
Chicago drill,
Yup.
New York drill,
Yup.
Atlanta drill, whatever. Drill music is an American phenomenon.
And the UK and people are doing it great in other spaces.
Yeah, and not to say that they're not doing it great, right?
But to say that no
Yeah.
disrespect to America, that the
When you meant that with all disrespect to America,
You sure did.
because now you don't, even though you cloak all through America, that was your bag. America was your bag, your body.
Oh, I'm from Memphis because your daddy from Memphis and you've been twice.
But now you're not American.
Choose-
Now you're
choose
gonna mess up.
Atlanta,
Vegas.
Vegas.
Okay.
3 cities that you establish a relationship with. That's what I mean when I say that Drake lost his sense of self. Drake, back on So Far Gone, was very clear that about where he fit in the music industry and how he would be received by the consumer. He said, everybody, I got the label execs looking nervous because the hipsters gonna have to start hanging out with the hood niggas. Like he knew that was that weird liminal space that he occupied. But he took a swing that was just too too far.
With this quote or in general?
In general.
Oh.
In general, I think that Drake stopped being. I think that Drake's downward curve begins specifically on the second half of Nothing Was the Same.
All the way back and Nothing Was the Same?
Yes, absolutely.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say.
I'll write that Substack little
Really?
I was
article
gonna
later.
say Beast from the Six.
Okay, maybe I'm just a little bit late to
Views?
it. I feel like Scorpion was the last album that I can say Drake was still putting
Y'all
out for the
gonna be
folks.
mad at me because I like the later album.
No.
I was on certified.
My Mount Rushmore is me with
That
4
came out
different
my freshman year
expressions.
undergrad.
Who's giving out this much return on
Here's the
investment?
thing. Here's the thing about hip hop that I
I
think you
can't
forget,
take
right? Hip hop is. I don't want to get in trouble in public.
You sound like the white. Do you know the video of the white lady who's teaching how to dance? You know,
Crazy. Hip
All right.
hop is an
Last
inherently.
comment,
I'm
though.
sorry. Hip hop is an inherently communal proposition.
Yeah.
Right.
And Drake, the reason, part of why I said the second half of Nothing Was the Same, that's where we start to hear, at least sonically, the outworking of what we know now took place in his real life. He cut off so many people in the hip hop community. He and Nicki weren't on good terms. He and Lil Wayne weren't on good terms. Him and Birdman weren't on good terms. He and Meek Mill started beefing shortly after that.
Yeah.
So he had to go back to Toronto, which is where we get views, and that he calls that's my album for the city. Well, who else is up there? All the white people that you got put on and famous with to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you further that when you get on Scorpion. My Mount Rushmore is me with 4 different expressions. Well,
That's a cold bar.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it reveals you're an isolationist.
Yeah.
Because Kendrick is also, he's bringing up his cousin. Kendrick is putting on other artists, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kendrick is building with Top. Like,
Even when you look at the GNX album,
Did GNX come out last year? That's an album
you know what I'm
that
saying?
In rap,
You see what I'm saying?
you're still having
He's
conversations
reaching
with
across
pop.
generations.
Yeah.
J. Cole is building up Dreamville to
Yeah.
sell Dreamville so his homies can still be taken care of.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so Drake at that point, he stops being hip hop and he starts becoming pop.
Yeah.
Because pop is primarily concerned about which individual set of pockets on one pair of pants can I get to be the fattest. That's how pop functions commercially. We can move on now. That's kind of.
no, I thought that was a really good breakdown of that.
Yeah.
I can't let Drake go out as like, we're not just gonna ignore the fact that Drake kept us entertained.
Yeah, he had to get to where he was. He had to get to where he was.
You know what I'm saying? Like he
pushed the
changed what
he did
hip-hop would do.
Yeah, he did change.
But he took a swing too
He
far.
changed the game. And honestly, when people get that much power, like it seems like within hip hop or just in general, once you get to a certain level of like you have that much influence, you have that much power, it does seem to get to some folks' head. Because
Into this next segment.
Right. The actual topic that we really want to push on. The actual topic that we really want to push on tonight. We want to talk about. You said what?
I'm saying they gotta obey.
You gotta
Yes.
change the
Yes.
settings so that your
So-
screen doesn't go off. Change the settings so that your screen.
Talking about obey. So even John, when you were talking, and you were kind of breaking down your thought process of how you view the whole like Drake phenomenon and the evolution and the downfall, if you will, loosely using that.
This downfall.
What I was thinking about when you were speaking was like, even when you're talking about the transition from hip hop to pop and the transition from like being surrounded to being isolated, by choice, almost in a sense. I started to think about how that plays into some of our decisions and some of our own like personal desires that we flow with. And so I was thinking about how does that connect to this idea of obedience and this big tension between like, even before we get to what we feel like God is asking us. But when we feel like, I think there's this negative connotation surrounding obedience that when people hear it, or even the term like obey, it's almost like offense is immediately taken.
Yeah.
Or defense is immediately put up.
Yeah.
And so like people are automatically like, like I remember even talking to some people, to some friends during undergrad, and I was talking about just being obedient. And someone was like, I'm not gonna lie, when you say that, I feel a little triggered. Because I don't like like when I hear obedient, I hear my grandma. and I hear her like saying that when I was younger, but they had like negative experiences with that. And it's like, I'm almost like, I have to do whatever you say, and I don't have a personal identity. I don't have my own persona. And so then I started to think about that, and I was like, dang God, like I can only imagine how many of your children like actually internalize that same thought process when we talk about being obedient, like this feeling of I can't have an identity then, or I can't be as loud in my identity if I'm trying to be obedient to whatever I'm told is your will, or to whatever I feel is your will with my life. And so a few questions I want to poke out with that. But first, when we're talking about what we believe obedience to mean through our own experiences and through revelation and all of that and knowledge, I want to ask y'all, starting off, where do you think the church sometimes mishandles conversations about obedience? Like when it comes to, it's a heavy hitter. It's a heavy hitter, and I was ready to ask y'all this. So right. I want everyone to think about that, because I want us to talk about because we gonna put it out there, because that's already gonna be what people's first knee-jerk reaction is. It's like, oh, y'all are speaking Bible, y'all talking God, but the church says this. So let's be honest, as 5 young individuals who are all in the church heavy, but we also are all strong in striving towards our identity. What do you think the church, in what way do you feel like the church has mishandled the conversation of obedience? Whether you feel like simplifying it or shaming in a way, but how do you feel?
I think it is, to mishandle obedience is first to mishandle intrinsic value to people's personhood. And what I mean by that is this. Obedience implies a value bias. Obedience implies that something is in fact qualitatively better as a concept, as a rule of life, than what the person that's being asked to obey is currently offering to the table. Scripture presents that kind of dynamic with the idea that God's ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are above ours. His ways are different than ours. They're not ours, apathetically. So there's already this kind of stratification. But the church can engage how obedience, I think, requires that value bias that says that this way is in fact better than this way. That this identity is in fact qualitatively better than this identity. But the church doesn't do a good job of assigning any kind of value to this identity on the grassroots level. So for somebody to be told you have to obey without first being told you are seen, you are loved, you're safe, you're welcome, it is first to tell them, I am rejecting everything that you are, abandoning it, it becomes an assailant on who I actually physically, embodiedly am. And that's a difficult thing, because obedience does require a disavowal of what you think, what you feel, in order to be in line with a will that's outside of your own. That very notion of a will that can exist outside of your own first means that you have to look beyond yourself.
I want to add to that because I have a memory of my closest childhood friend. I think we were in high school or maybe like freshman year of college. It was that weird liminal space. She came to church with me on I think it was like a New Year's night, and she said she felt called and she walked down to accept Christ, and then she got taken by one of the people up front, the ministers, pulled to the side of the room. She had their moment. They came back. We got in the car. We were heading back home to drop off everybody. And she told me immediately that the lady, and I'm bringing up the one minister because I feel like everybody has somebody in their church who was similar to that archetype that existed. And she immediately, instead of going down the route of love, compassion, I see you, I'm happy to be a part of this journey with you, we're going to do this, immediately, you need to stop having sex with your boyfriend.
That's crazy.
You need to come up.
She just got saved.
And you don't know him. No, I'm just playing.
She just accepted the idea, the concept, the belief of Christ for the first time in her life.
Right, there are so many things.
No, the boyfriend was not at church.
So you don't even know how to have a boyfriend.
So I'm sitting here you just made it so hard for me to continue my friend to go through the journey of being closer with Christ. Now, of course, clearly God adored her and loved her because she she had a moment, and then she came back, and God was like, "Nah, you're mine."
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're mine beyond whatever they stand up at that church.
You're
You mad.
still mine, and
You're
she's
mine.
now back in the house or whatever doing the thing. But when I say that made me, can I say piss? It pissed me off so bad because I was like, I finally was like, my friend said to Jesus Christ, and I got this
Joining the army of the Lord.
This lady who totally turned her off, and I was like, sure, maybe obedience. Yeah, turn your life around, stop having sex, whatever. But I was like, damn, could we have created a relationship?
How do you know?
But see,
How do
that's
you
my-
know that I do that?
Well,
But that's my whole thing, like to
Well,
jump
I
off
hope
of
you
both
go where I
of
think
y'all.
you're going.
Say again?
No, I said I hope you're going where I think you're going.
Oh, I hope so. Jumping off of both of those with the espousing of or the evaluation of what is the better, looking at what is the better. My issue then is the church historical, or at least my personal experiences with lots of different kinds of church, not just the black church, because I've also worked in Presbyterian churches, Episcopalian churches, I've worked in the Church of not Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now I haven't worked with the Mormons before, but I've worked with the Church of Christ and Christian Scientists. Like I've worked with a bunch of different kinds of Christians. The resume is something. The point is, every denomination that I have encountered of Christianity has its own, for whatever church historical reasons, because there are church historical reasons, idea about what is that better, and it is always rooted in holiness. And my problem as a Afro-Puerto Rican woman presenting individual, your ideas of holiness never look like me.
Right.
So why?
Right.
Why is that
keep digging there, Ari.
Why is that better? Why is that what I have to obey? If we're all fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, if we all have the same spirit that dwelled in Christ Jesus living in us, then why is your idea of better or holy or what I should be obeying so antithetical, not to just to my fleshly desires? Because it's one thing, the sacrifice is important. You have to decide what it is, what are the things that you are going to sacrifice. And I'm okay with that.
Take up their cross.
Right, you have to take up your cross, and I'm okay with that idea. But my cross is mighty heavy, and yours is looking really light. So who's actually carrying the cross here?
Did you just stop obeying? Did you just stop obeying?
Because yours is, and no correlation actually to rosaries of the Catholic Church, but yours is the little rosary that you can carry in your pocket that you're barely even thinking about as you're going through your day.
Baby, man's wooden and heavy. It's bigger than I am. It's fatty.
The black man has to come help me carry it. Like she's like, so that's my whole. When we talk about, and I could be more specific and name, when we spiritual bypassing, and the church is not taught people generally great ethics around. We always talk about obeying in our finances, but you can't tell me to tithe 10% and it's the last $10 I have in my pocket. That is not ethical for us to do. I don't care how you slice it. Yes, it belongs to the Lord. Yes, the tithe is holy and sacred and is set apart for the Lord, and as it should be. And if I am dirt broke and there's nothing else for me to give, you can't ask me to give that last dollar.
You can't.
God,
God can ask for whatever God wants.
Yeah. But you, the
church, somehow have to just acknowledge the fact.
I like that you said that, because when y'all were all chatting, and I'll also give you a minute, Zay, to answer, what I was thinking about, because I was initially thinking about obedience on the grand scope of via God, right? God's will and God's instruction. But I love how we're also pinpointing, because that's a huge part of the process, especially when you are a believer, or even when you don't consider yourself quite a believer yet, you're just curious and you're poking at it, and you go into these processes where you're in these institutions and you're in these church houses and you're struggling because people are automatically telling you, like, these are the instructions, you need to obey these rules. And I think that's what also adds on to the weight of the negative connotation of obey and obedience, because so many times it clicks for people, that means rules. And for me, that wasn't my introduction experience into obedience. And so that's what me and my friend were even talking about when she was telling me, because that was hers. It was rules. It was the guidelines. You have to do this or you're stepping out of, and so you get out of the will of God, right? And so, and that can push people away because, like Ariel said, like, when you say about, you can't tell me to give you my last 10, and what I think about that is when we have those types of beliefs, like, okay, you trust in God and He'll provide for you, and you give this. I think about, well, those things can go into effect if everybody's doing the will of God, right? Which means Ari shouldn't worry about having to give her last 10, because once she give her last 10, if I have, she can never have a last 10, because if I got 20, she got 20. Like, we are in community. I'm supposed to feed my brother and my sister. I'm supposed to shelter them.
And the church has been horrible about asking people to give their last and not teaching people how to steward their finances.
Absolutely.
So you can't ask me to give out of a place that you haven't taught me how to be able to do.
Well, I'm going to come in and defend. I'm sorry, you haven't responded. I'm going to let you respond.
I think the word obedience is hard for a lot of Christians in general, because the church and Christianity historically has such a manipulative relationship with the word obedience, because like when, especially with it being perceived by humans, like everybody's perception is different, and so when we have a history of manipulation from the Roman Catholic Church to the Baptist Church to being obedient to God in certain ways, has been, you can't love who you love.
Right.
It used to be, if you're black, you're a slave, because that's what the Bible says, and it's hard for people to. It's a lot. The Bible is a lot to absorb, and so with people, the Bible's a lot.
On top of people telling you,
you're supposed to do this. And everybody and there are so many denominations. Yeah. Everybody's telling you so many different things or different ways to be obedient. It becomes cluttered. It becomes cluttered. It's like, okay, do this, but don't do this, and then this, and this, and this, and then it's like, also for some people, I can't be who I am and be Christian.
Yeah, now you're starting to be overwhelmed, and then you're anxious while with the Spirit of God, you like, whoa.
Yeah, that's not
unwelcome.
That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not
peace.
Yes,
is
y'all.
the
So
fruit of
that's
the
not
Spirit. Anxiety is the works of the flesh, according to Paul. Yeah. There's two things I think that continue that thought, right? So flipping it and, dare I say, defending the church too.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I wanted to also highlight, I appreciate that we were able to highlight, to show our non-biases of like highlighting where there is error. But then also, I don't want it to be confused.
We are church people.
I believe in the church. And the black church will save America.
The black church is saving America.
We are the body. We are part of the church.
Just 2 nights ago.
And all her flaws and all of her
Amen.
I critique America because I love her.
Because I love
the church because I
love
the church.
Absolutely.
So then inverting the prism as it is, the church, I don't think the church institutionally, globally, is able to respond to two phenomena. One is a social phenomenon. That social phenomenon is in the modern era, in 2025, 2026, call it the last 15-ish years. Now, let's even go back to like 2001. Let's go all the way back to like 9/11 America. Okay? There is a distrust in institutions. We don't believe in politicians, so people don't vote. We don't believe in the safety of companies because of what we've seen as far as corporate fraud. We don't believe in the church because of legitimate abuses of power and turns and things. So there's now a social ethic in a secular society like America, like Europe, that requires of you looking at it with a jaundiced eye. I can't fully trust what you're saying to me because we don't even trust universities and institutions like that anymore.
Well, some of us do.
You're right. We're all academics in this room. But in the broader society, right? Like a lot of people are like, you don't need to go to that. How many people go to school, graduate, and say, I didn't need that degree to get my job? Well, dang. So you're showing distrust of the institution.
y'all don't want to know the number of black people.
Where people are like, I don't trust that liberal institution because you notice how all the academics live.
Yeah, and I won't even tell y'all the number of black people that told me they don't trust HBCUs.
All the study,
Which is the problem. And I've had family members that have said that to me.
Yeah.
Like said black people saying that they have issue where they don't trust HBCUs.
I have no beef.
You ain't got no
UWI person, like I have heard it all, and people are in like disagreement with HBCUs, saying that HBCUs are not able to provide correct opportunities for black people because they don't teach you how white men think.
They obviously didn't check them degrees and careers.
All those things, but I also it connected to the idea of like the distrust, but also how like we distrust people with like seminary degrees. Like it creeps me out how many pastors, how many like ministerial leaders are like, no, I'm not going. I didn't go to school. I felt like God can lead me, and I'm just like, you're dangerous.
I understand both sides.
To me, all of that is
I understand both sides.
That is dangerous.
So that's the social phenomenon, the theological, spiritual phenomenon, and this is risky. I hope you don't shoot me.
Excellent.
The will of God is mediated by people.
And that's...
So you can't call yourself being obedient to the will of God if you can never call yourself being obedient to a brother, a sister, a father, a mother, a leader, a boss.
I think that's where it's scary because some people do have experiences where obedience to a father, obedience to a sister, obedience to a friend has put them in some really bad places. And I understand the institutional talk as well because while I love my HBCU education, I'm going through it and it is blessing me every day. I've also seen people graduate from HBCUs, PWIs, whatever school, and not be able to go into the workforce. But that's not the HBCU's fault. That's right. Higher ed and capitalism. Yeah, I was about to say capitalism. But on top of that, the people that are scared, because I've talked to Pops about this, and Pops is also very like y'all know Pops. He sees both sides of everything, and so like when he talks about education, he also like miseducation of the Negro. Some of these institutions are teaching us to be a part of their system.
Yes.
And so you keep a good circle around you, like we do, because we need to be able to like discuss the things that we're learning and see other perspectives of the things that we're learning. But it's like,
and that's what I'm saying. The church doesn't know. I'm not sure that the church through history has been equipped to deal with that strangeness of Paul says that heavenly treasure, I'm misquoting the scripture grossly, follow the paraphrase, that we have been gifted this treasure in earthly vessels. Earthly vessels, if anybody that's familiar with pottery knows, that you see the cracks, you see the lines, you can tell where the ridges are, you can tell where the discontinuities are at the earliest stages of a vessel being formed before it endures firing and all that kind of stuff, and glazing and covering up of those things in order to beautify it. And I think that that's the problem, is that Paul, I imagine, in the language, would have used some different words other than earthen vessel, suggesting that it's unfinished, suggesting that it is flawed, it's got some ridges, it's got some bumps, it's got some cracks, it's got some cracks. It's different than a word that would be used, say, like the jar vessels that Jesus commands the disciples to go fill up when he at the wedding of Cana. Okay, those 6 jars, that's a different turn of phrase that's used in specific in the language of the day, I would imagine, right? So I'm saying that to say that is a hang up at worst, preoccupation most generously of the institution of church that I'm not sure we know how to get over.
Now, I think that's a good point, and I think all of y'all made really, really good points. And to go back to the conversation where you brought up God's will being mediated through people at times, right? And us having to learn how to, and to take the conversation not just off of the church, but also just our relationship to obedience in general.
Sure.
And I like how you highlighted, you and Jazz, how it can be scary, right? This process of having to trust a mother, a father, a sister, or a brother, or someone just in the hierarchy, on the totem pole, right? So I want to, when you were speaking, I heard just very clearly how, like, forgiveness is a part of the stages of learning obedience.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about, like, when we talk about what is obedience and how do we do obedience? How do we become obedient? If we're saying, okay, who am I supposed to be obedient to? How do I discern this, right? And so I was thinking about that as everyone's talking. And then when you started talking about how this is scary, I've been reading the Bait of Satan by John Bevere. I hope I'm not butchering his last name.
That's exactly what you said.
Okay, yay. But, and it talks about being free from the spirit of offense, right? And how the enemy uses that as a strategy, as a major strategy, and how we don't even realize how much it just plays into our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
But so much of the testimonials from people who have read his book and from people in the church, people outside of the church, so many individuals who would go to him in ministry and be like, I'm struggling with experiencing the Spirit of God. I don't ever feel his presence. I've gone to church, I've done prayer, I've gotten baptized, I've done it, a lot of things. I do what the folks is doing, but I have never felt his presence. And he'd be like praying with them, and everybody in some format will end up having the same like revelation eventually, where God would reveal, you are holding unforgiveness in your heart. You have not forgiven this specific person. Like one lady, for example, it was like you haven't forgiven your husband, and her husband had died. And she was like, yeah, no, this is true. She was like, yep, this is true. And she ended up telling him all the things that he did, and he even said it was very intense. But they end up having this come to Jesus moment, might I say, but where it reveals, like, I didn't realize until reading that book just how heavy the weight of just not forgiving will hold you. One testimonial, one guy said he had this death experience where he died, and then he pleaded with God to, like, give me another chance to really, like, live my life for you. And then God said, okay. But before doing that, God showed him his mother-in-law in hell. And he was like, why is she in hell? She's a saint. And, like, she went to church every Sunday, and she said the sinner's prayer all the time. And God's like, because she wouldn't forgive one of her family members. She held down on not forgiving them. And so I don't think people understand just how heavy that cross is that people carry, and they be trucking it along all the time, and they don't truck, like, and just mad. And you're like wondering, how can I be obedient? God's like, you skipping a step. You gotta learn how to forgive first. Because it's so real, and I want to validate that as well, because I also want to highlight what Ariel and John pointed out earlier about just the intention behind being valued, feeling seen, being, like, allowing your identity to be pushed out in love, like, without saying, oh, you're not supposed to do this, or you're not supposed to do that, because God said this, God said that, because we are also created in God's image. So I can't be this supervillain that you're trying to paint me out to be. So, like, learning how to value the identity and understanding that God doesn't want to remove our heart's desires, but it's the molding process. Yeah. It's the reshaping.
The goal is to not change your heart's desire. The goal is to match your heart's desire with the desires of the Lord.
Absolutely.
And when you find, because that was one of the things that I learned, really, like, people cliche talk about, what's your heart scripture?
But I think you're going to answer this question.
PCA days.
I think you're going to answer this question, so I want to just pose it to everybody, and you answer, and then y'all go. So when we talk about that, then, because what we've discussed is fear, and what we've also are starting to get into is love, what does it look like obeying from a place of love versus fear? Because I want us to be able to highlight that for our viewers that may be struggling.
I think it was similar, going a similar vein, so I can switch up to answer that more specifically. I think when anything done out of love, I think that's, in my estimation, in my understanding of the Bible, that's the clearest set of instructions that we have. Niggas are confused about how to love. That's Jesus gave very clear.
And it feels so good when you do it.
I feel like there are some things that are so up in the air, and we just have to leave it in God's hands.
Sure.
But I feel like love is one of those things that has been made very clear in the scripture.
Acts shows very clearly how the church lives out love.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very plainly.
And we
so
don't
when
do
Jesus
that. And we be
crucified
like,
him,
love is so hard.
Which is what we talked about when I said my sister wouldn't just have $10 because Acts told me how to handle that.
So
Acts said you sell your car, sell your house.
I feel like when we talk about what it is to operate in love, number one, it shouldn't be so nebulous. I feel like, and even if you want to take it outside of the realm of Christianity, the point of most major religions is love.
Right.
So if you feel like Christianity is unclear about how to love, go read the Quran. The Quran has
there's some good stuff in there.
Great stuff in there about how to love people. Make sure it's on.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great stuff in there about how to love people. So when we talk about like operating out of love versus operating out of fear, I'm taking it back to the heart scripture, whatever. Like mine is the passage in Matthew when Jesus was like, "Yo, I was hungry, you didn't feed me."
Bro, I swear I think that all the time.
Every single day. And so my life's mission is to see how can I take the giftings and the natural inclinations that God has given me and match those things or make those things, live out those things in the ways in which He has called us to love, which is very clear in my estimation, both in the Bible and in other major religious expressions or major theological or lifestyle expressions in the world. So I feel like back to my original point earlier about like what do you call holy? Like it's the same thing of what do you call love? Because there's no way that you can call shame love. That's antithetical to love. There's no way that you can call abuse love because that's antithetical to love. Like peace and anxiety can't exist in the same space. Yeah. And I feel like I get very confused when people are very confused about when they do things and people are like, "Oh, I don't know why they were offended." Well, because you talk to them crazy. You talk to them in a
audacity.
With audacity.
A lot of y'all audacious.
Very audacious and in a tone that people can't receive, and then you wonder why people can't receive you. And well, they're just too sensitive. Well, this is just how I am. Absolutely not.
But this could be just your brother.
This can be just as you are, and you need to check that. Yeah. Like I feel like the ways in which we are called to love are very, very clear, and I feel like people choose often. Out of convenience for themselves, what it is they are willing to do, how far they're willing to actually go in love. And in America, in a capitalistic, individualistic society that we live in currently, I would make the strong assertion that most niggas aren't loving on the day to day.
No,
they aren't.
No,
because it's the world that we live in, the society that we are set up in, makes love damn near impossible. It makes it the hardest thing to do.
Talking good.
Absolutely.
And talking good.
You really are.
It's just not that hard, but it is.
Because it's relational. Because love is relational. You can't just be pouring love into individuals and showing up as love, but you isolate it. So it causes for relationship. And that's how we also do obedience. It causes for relationship. I can't do obedience blind. I have to be relational, even though it's something that's mediated through people, God's obedience and God's will. But still, if my discernment, that's connected to my relation with God. Right? I can't do that, and I can't show up in love with individuals, and I can't show up in love with how I receive what somebody's saying, because that's another thing. Obedience, it is relational. Period. Like, we have to be willing to be in relationship. And we talked about this before last time when we filmed. Actually, we were talking about, John was bringing up a brilliant point about being in a village and being in community and what does that mean. And like even when Ariel talked about just building community and that being a beautiful mess in itself, we can't expect to have this grand, complex, and deep and wide relationship with God. And we know about obedience, and we know about intention, and we're aware, and we know about love, and we have understanding. You can't expect to have all of that, and you don't know how to do community. That's good. Yeah. You're like, I'm with Jesus every day, and He knows me, but I won't step foot in a church.
The community is.
That's not.
I'm sorry. God's self is community. Yeah. Father, Son, Spirit.
Oh
my Redeemer, Sustainer. God, the triune God is a community.
Let me just take a minute to just receive what both of y'all just said, because it was pop, back to back. Because I hope y'all heard them. Like, literally, the community is going to test that. Every time you think, no, you can't get your driver's license only when you driving in a parking lot that's empty. Baby, you gonna have to get on the expressway. Show me you can move with the stop sign. Show me you can.
Be a productive member of society?
And some of the people can't drive.
Interact.
And some of the people cannot drive. But you still have to show that you don't stop driving because people can't drive.
And you know what's crazy?
So stop not going to church just because you mad at how the mother and the elder is telling you to obey. Pray for her. Pray that God teach her real obedience.
How can you control the traffic if you can't even step out there? You can't even change lanes, big dog.
Let's extend this metaphor. The goal of driving is not to control traffic. The goal of driving is to get from your point of beginning to your destination. Everybody got a way to know that you're a good driver. The way that they give you the license after you pass your driving test is when you can successfully be on the road with other cars and other drivers and not have a collision.
Amen.
The only way you can well done, my faithful servant, is to get in that car, drive
and make sure that
car.
you don't hit nobody else.
And you can't.
Because what do they tell you? You're not driving for yourself.
You driving for the other guy.
Thank you, Pop.
What Pop say?
You drive for the other guy. Why? And you know what?
And that's how we're supposed to do community. That's how we're supposed to do faith, y'all. And I also want to highlight again what John even said. God is community. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Y'all be screaming, Jesus, know me. He like, how can I know you? You don't even be around my people.
What did Jesus say? I only do and say what I see my Father do and say.
They told Jesus, your mother and your brother and them out here. Jesus said, who is my mother and my brother?
Who are my brothers? Those that do the will of who? My Father. The only way that you get to even identify along with that fatherhood is you come into relationship with those people that are attached to that lineage.
Absolutely.
Who claim the same father.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely. So the point we're making here is outside of obedience is a relational process. We also understand, and none of us are saying that it's easy. We understand that it is difficult. Even biblical characters struggle with obedience. Jonah, Saul, so many people struggle with. We struggle with it at times in our own walk. But this is what we're going to be pressing against. We're going to be praying for and praying against things that attack our obedience in this next season of our lives. When we're touching on the topic of obedience is better than sacrifice, we're going to break this thing down, y'all. Stay with us. Stick with us. I have a few questions that I want to leave you guys with. Your alone time, your quiet time with God, and then your journaling. Where is God inviting you to obey? Where are you replacing obedience with busyness? What desire might God be reshaping and not removing? Now, your quiet time with God. Now, we enjoyed this episode with you all. Walk in your destiny, walk in your purpose. Family, get up. It's time to flourish. All righty.